Hey everyone, welcome to the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is another episode of 1804 History. And before I start, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. Let's begin. Yeah, sorry I'm late. Had some running around to do and stuff like that, so I wanted to just make sure that I conducted my research on this particular topic because I really been thinking about it all day and just wanted to make sure that everything is right and accurate. So, just the fact that I'm such a big Malcolm X fan, supporter, all of that, that I wanted to touch on some things because a lot of people don't really understand his early life like that and just the comparison of his father and himself, like events that led to both of their assassinations. It's just pretty much a coincidence on how certain things happened and how they was killed. It's just really eerie, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, wow, just, both were very young. One was 41, his father was 41 when he was murdered, and his son was 39 when he was murdered. And it's just very scary when you sit back and think about it. This is like a horror movie, if you ask me. But I just wanted to just do something special because this is the first day of Black History Month, and just wanted to just make sure that I do something special for the entire month by doing videos, sharing history facts, and sharing people that's not in the history books, just making sure that they get their flowers, get their shine, because they're really trying to take Black history out of our schools system. They really don't want our children or the youth to know about our greatness and stuff like that. And Black people, please stop helping the establishment by telling people that Black history isn't important. Our history is important just like everybody else's. You're only thinking about slavery and the Klan and all this other stuff, but it's great things, it's good things about our history as well that people need to know and showcase. And I'm one of those people that is going to pay homage to the people who paved the way so I could be somebody in this time, in this era. So it is what it is. But on that note, I wanted to talk about this topic. See, it's really so much that's not like publicized about Mr. Earl Little, except the fact that he was born in Reynolds, Taylor County, Georgia, July 28th, 1890, excuse me. And the craziest thing is that he was killed in Michigan. He was killed because he was preaching the teachings of Marcus Garvey, and a whole lot of the white folks down there in Michigan didn't want him teaching that. And he was murdered allegedly by the so-called Klan group, Black Legion, that's what they call themselves. And even before all of that, he was being threatened and stuff. And he come from a family that four of his brothers was murdered by whites. And he was a very tall man in stature, 6'4", over 200 pounds. So that I believe this is where Malcolm got his height from and got his swag and got his overall from his father. The willing to not back down, fearless, because his father didn't take no mess. His father was very strict on his mother and his children. And they said that he was a very disciplinary person. Like in his house, whatever he say goes, wherever he say goes. So he wasn't the type to just be reasoned with and everything like that. But I can admire his courage for wanting to do God's work, and he sacrificed his life for that. And just the fact that he was abducted and taken downtown and ran over by a streetcar because he refused to stop teaching the works of Marcus Garvey. Why I keep on saying Marvis? That's crazy. But yeah, it's just like crazy because like the coroner office ruled that as a suicide. And wasn't in the South. This was in Michigan. This was in Lansing, Michigan. And just the fact that like they try to cover that up, they don't really apologize for that. They never really came out to the public and apologize for that. Thank you, bro. I see you, man. Appreciate you. And I tell everybody how dangerous it was back in them days that it didn't matter where you was at. Like the North was just as bad as the South when it came down to lynchings and racial violence and terrorism. The Klan was like spread it, especially after the Birth of a Nation movie. And I thought about doing another video to that because I know I already touched on certain things, but I didn't really break it down. So I'm gonna talk about that probably like down the road. But yeah, after the film by D.W. Griffin, The Birth of a Nation, the Klan pretty much resurrected. Like they had about a couple hundred to like 4 million members all over the United States. And I tell everyone that it's serious. That I don't know why y'all act like we're free and that everything's okay, but it's not. It's way worse because now, they wearing police uniforms and gunning us down. And back then, it was just a forbidden thing to talk to white men and stand your ground because you would die. You know what I'm saying? This was like really serious. And just the fact like he was killed for doing what he believed in and following his heart. And Malcolm was only 6 years old. So just imagine just the bitterness he felt, that missing link in his life because his father was murdered. And he literally watched his family get separated as a child. So a whole lot of people just consider him as misunderstood, angry, bitter, the labels they put on us. But I can imagine. And just the fact that, they was poor after that and the state came in, took the kids, and they all was separated. They all went to foster homes. You know what I'm saying? Just off the strength of something they did. And it's just sad because, he was always smart. He was always just bright. He was class president as a youth and just wanted to be a lawyer. And just the fact to have somebody like his favorite teacher, who was apparently white, to tell him that he would never be a lawyer. You're an N-word. So you go with your hands, Malcolm. How about you be a carpenter? You know? And you tell this to a child, you know what I'm saying? And no wonder why he went to a life of crime and started to be in the streets and stuff like that. He really was out there, you know, and just became just a delinquent because it just felt like his dreams were shot. And a lot of us young men, we went through that because we wanted to be something so badly. And then you have either your mother, your father, brother or sister, or somebody that you looked up to tell you that you're no good to become this particular thing. It really destroy your self-esteem and make you act out, but you act out in the wrong way. You go into like a silent depression or just you feel hopeless and stuff. So, and just the fact like he was sentenced to 10 years in prison because he got caught robbing white folks and stuff and being with white women and stuff like that. And I know a whole lot of people think that the Baines character in the movie Malcolm X is real, but it wasn't real. He wasn't actually a real person. He was a character of many men and stuff, but it was really his brother, um, Michael, who told him about the Nation of Islam and he should seek recruitment, you know what I'm saying, of being in that organization. And he was really devoted to Elijah Muhammad because Elijah Muhammad reminded him of his father and just the fact like he was such a leader, he was such divine and blase blase. But it's just like the similarities of father and son. Like they both were murdered very viciously, excuse me, and I couldn't imagine just the type of paranoia, the type of fear that Malcolm was exhibiting once he was suspended from the Nation of Islam. And people sit back and talk about like he was teaching hate, but you have people who didn't know that it was okay to be who you are and it was okay to stick up for yourself and be yourself. Because in the 60s, well, I would say like 50s and 60s, it was a lot of African Americans that was doing their best to hide their blackness and wanted to be white, wanted to be the so-called dominant. And we really didn't have people walking around with afros and, being cool and loving who you are as black. And that's what the nappy hair came from. You was considered a beast or a monster if you walked around with just an afro and nappy hair. So that's where a lot of the process and the perms came from. And, just dressing in clown suits and just looking crazy, right? because they were just trying to feel accepted by society. And and I tell myself every day is that I love being a black man. I love being who I am. I love the way I dress because everybody copies us. Everybody look at us and want to be us, but they don't want our problems. They don't want to, I would say, the discrimination. They don't want the racial profiling. They don't want the police brutality. They don't want any of that. Being assassinated, being followed when you're in the store, all types of stuff. But they want our music. They want our swag. They want to dress like us. They want to be us, but they don't want our problems. So just the fact that um, both their houses were firebombed and stuff before their deaths, and Malcolm had 5 daughters and stuff. He never got the chance to meet the twins because he was assassinated while his wife Betty Shabazz was pregnant with the twins, but he had 3 girls. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the fact like he was shot over 20 times in front of his kids and his wife, pregnant wife at that. You know, couldn't even imagine. And then Earl Little just being taken away, probably from his church, because they really don't, never break down how he was abducted. But I was just assumed that he was at his church and they came and grabbed him and took him downtown and orchestrated his murder, because ruled out as a suicide. Hold up a second, everybody. Okay, I'm back. My camera almost fell. But yeah, it's just when you sit back and think about this type of stuff, it can get really eerie just how both a father and son met their demise while being so young and fighting for injustice, equality, and just being very articulate men. And I believe just with their teachings and their thoughts, and just how what Malcolm ended up becoming, and just following the same footsteps as his pops, just really was his destiny. And I just respect Malcolm so much because just the fact that he was so brave. And I believe that he had to be, because his father was brave, because I just sit back and think about, you know, if they didn't grab him, they would have grabbed not just him, but they would have killed the entire family because they didn't want those type of teachings being preached into the Negro congregation in the church. So it just makes me very grateful for being able to do what I do and to be humble about what I do. While everybody clout chasing and trying to get to the next level and this and that, if anything, I'm just trying to become a better person, a better individual for my community, and just be free to tell these stories. And I know a lot of people don't care about particular history, but we have to keep these stories reoccurring and also in rotation. So I'm going to end this episode tonight. I just wanted to thank everybody who tuned in and stuff like that, and just be looking for more commentary in the near future, and just subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. If you want to donate to the Cash App, $ the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. And I'm out. Have a good night. Peace.